Hey everybody. Oh, another night, another night. Yeah, so let's see, tonight we're going to be working on Skeletor some more. Gonna finish the inks on this bad boy. You can see as I do, I tend to like jump the gun and like I get kind of antsy and I want to see how it's going to look. So I start jumping ahead and coloring things, and it's like, yeah, this is not the time to be doing that. But anyway, it gives me some confidence that that this is going to turn out. So anyways, yeah, we'll hide these colors and let's see, hide that. Go back to our sketch. I don't know what that is. Don't think we need it, but we'll leave it for now. All right, let's do this thing. Hey, Larissa, how's it going? I'm doing well. Doing well. Let's see here. Gonna cheat this a little bit. Because why not? Oh. Oh, we're supposed to have one right here, too. just before I hopped on, I happened to catch something going around on Twitter about, and I didn't capture, excuse me, I didn't catch all of the details, but it sounded like something about like a artist over at DC, like poaching people from Marvel or something. I don't know what that's all about, but I'll have to read up on that and see what's going on there. Makes me wonder if even comics does that same thing that a lot of entertainment companies do with the like the no poaching. Like if you leave a company, like contractually, like you have a certain amount of time you have to wait before you can try to attract people or whatever, before you can lure them away, especially to a competitor. It's illegal. So it's illegal to poach from another company, or it's illegal for them to tell you you can't? Oh. But what counts as poaching though? Because that's what I'm a little fuzzy on. Because to me, it's like that ends up being one of those like slippery slopes right there. Like if somebody reaches out because they honestly want to switch jobs. Yeah, you need to check that out. Don't be giving me wrong information. Because I'm going to go and spread it, and then I'll be wrong. Hey, Kid, how's it going? Oh, thank you. Doing pretty good. Yeah, just kind of taking it easy, doing some art. Gonna try to get the inks on this thing finished up tonight, and then next stream start focusing on getting the colors knocked out. So I've talked about this on previous streams before, but like I used to be hardcore into comics. I mean, like I was one of those people who had a pull list, every few weeks, and so like every month I was spending a ton of money on books. Anyway, I ended up. I don't know. I for the life of me can't remember what caused it, but I ended up taking a bit of a hiatus from that, if you will, and kind of sort of came back to it a few years ago. I tried going digital, and it just didn't take. I know some people are, some of my friends are huge fans of the sort of the digital way of doing comics. It just never really clicked with me. Anyways, I recently got back into it because reading comics, not the digital stuff, but I recently got back into it because I discovered a bunch of people doing indie stuff on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And like really, really high end, good looking stuff. I mean, it's stuff that looks like it's being produced by one of the big publishers or something. So anyways, like I started getting into that, and I fell down this rabbit hole recently of just like every few days I'll just go search around and see what I can find. And I keep on finding just insane stuff. And sort of on a whim, it's like I'll find this stuff and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'll back it or I'll buy it. God, it happened again earlier this week. A friend of mine, he had posted something on Twitter about a couple different books he had found, and he like retweeted some art or something, And sure enough, you know, it was another great find. It's like, ooh, this has potential. So I got that one. It's becoming an addiction. So now I'm, you know, for all intents and purposes, back in comics again. And yep, just like before, it's like I've got these pull lists of stuff like every couple weeks. It's like, oh, here's 3 books I gotta go pick up. Here's a couple other books I gotta go pick up. It's just like it's really fun, but then like it's easy to lose track of like how much money you're spending on all that. And I was finally reminded of that today when a couple of my like my backer opportunities or whatever, like a couple of the payments went through on those, and I was just like, ooh, I need to stop this. Hey, what's going on, dude? Nah, you're not too late. We're just, you know, chatting it up over here. Telling everybody about my comic book addiction that I had kicked for a while, and now it's back in full swing. So my bank account is loving that. Yeah. Is Skeletor wearing my rings? No. However, you've given me a fantastic idea. No, I just sort of just had it in my head to accessorize them a little bit. I feel like that's something that you see a lot is like characters that are like, you know, wizards or whatever. It's like they wear like they've got their ornamentation, and so I just wanted to find little places to kind of add that stuff in. Like you could even push it and add like, you know, like it could have like a serpent, like a winding serpent thing going on, or, you know, I don't know, something cool, something that seems like a magical character would wear it. I don't know, just something to humanize him, if you will. It's like, okay, he's got this really badass Halloween costume. It's like, what else would he possibly be wearing? I think we could start combining some of this. Yeah. Gotta commit. Gotta commit. Did I see Facebook change the layout again? No, I didn't notice that. I have noticed though that Facebook and um, Instagram seem to be like merging. Like Instagram does the stories, and now on Facebook, it's basically the same thing. And I think you can like swap the stories in between. So it's like you can do a story on Instagram and push that same story to Facebook, and vice versa. Like at some point, I'm just wondering, like, I mean, do you guys just need to like just merge them already? Like my initial impression was that they wanted them to be different platforms because they were supposed to be used in different ways, but they keep on finding ways of sort of mashing them together. Yeah, I may have seen it and just didn't realize what it was or something. Okay, so this thing is supposed to be a jewel. Like some type of like specular dots. And then some type of a core. I'm flipping it because for this thing, I don't want it to be too noisy. And so if I use the other edge of this brush, it allows me to get the super fine lines in there. Although the more I look at it, I'm not sure that that's the way to go, to be honest. I think I might just leave this a little more simple. Maybe something like that. It's starting to get a little noisy over here because like there's going to be a ton of detail all up in this gauntlet area. And so if there's a ton of detail there and a ton of detail here, it's not going to pop as much. So I think I'm going to maybe leave this a little more plain. This will be a little more plain. And then it'll allow us to concentrate a lot of detail and contrast in there. Yeah, I think that'll work. Not sure I'm a fan of what's going on in here. Get all this out. I want to give it the sense of having some detailing and stuff, but without putting a ton of lines. So it's like, well, it's supposed to be a piece of bone, so what if I just sort of accentuate some of the ridging in there? Leave it for now. Might end up simplifying it even more, but it's probably fine for now. To be honest, I'm a little scared of this. I might come back to it. I'm like, I don't know about that. Yeah, again, it's like, this whole area is kind of butting up against this really detailed arm. So all of this stuff, I'm just going to try to, like, I want it needs to have some amount of detail just to hold up the lighting. But I'm going to try to keep it a little simpler. Sketch off, see how that feels. Flip it. Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, I think that works. Yeah, that's fine. And then it just allows, it'll allow all this to pop really nicely. I'd like to try to get the same amount of really nice contrast that I have like in this area in here. And then, so, I mean, just to step back and explain sort of my thought process behind how I shade everything. So if you'll notice, like, he's got certain areas where I'm allowing the shadows to go to solid black. And they tend to be the areas that are darker materials. If you happen to watch my stream when I was working on Kazu, I kind of went over the same thing. Like, I try to shade it differently depending on what the material is supposed to be and the color. So if it needs to be something that's darker, I'll allow a lot of the shadows to go dark, and there'll be a lot more of them. Whereas if it's something that is lighter, like a lighter color, like, so his skin, for example, it's, I can show you the example right here. It's like his skin is a lot, well, relatively anyway, it's brighter than the rest of his outfit, which is pretty dark. And so to sort of hint at that, and also it's skin, right? So you would have a sense of translucency. To try to hint at that, I'm, for the most part, not allowing the shadows to go completely black. Like, there's a couple of areas, like, right here at the edge of his pec, next to his arm, like right at that insertion point. Like, I mean, the forms are so close together. It's like, okay, well, it'll go pretty dark right there. It'll go black. Maybe some of this stuff on the back. But, like, if you look at, his arm, like, it's a lot of line work. It's a lot of hatching. And same thing with the skull up here, right? Like, his skull is not dark. He's got a freaking yellow bone head. So, I'm trying to stay away from the shadows going completely dark all the time. More often than not, it's a lot of line work. And then also, this is a great example of it down here. So I'm trying to give it a consistent look across the whole piece, but also hint at how the light would be affecting each of these colors, these materials. So anyways, just to give you a little explanation behind the process, behind the madness. Also, feel free to let me know, like, if me taking the time to explain all this is helpful or not, or if it's like, nah, just draw, just shut up. And a lot of these things, I mean, they're these little workflows and stuff that I describe. A lot of it is just stuff that it's either things that I do a lot, or it's things that I'm just kind of trying out just to see how effective it is. So it's totally possible that I might be doing something and I'm trying to explain a thought process, like here, and then like the next piece I might kind of alter that, change it up a little bit, so it's not done exactly the same way twice. I tend to do a lot of that, just experimenting and seeing what works. Because I've had people ask me that before, like, well, I saw your video on doing inking, and you sort of suggest you should do it this way, and then I saw another video and you were doing it different. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's because there's more than one way to do everything, and I find, like, I get a lot of satisfaction out of trying new methods. So I'm never going to be the person who thinks that the way I do things is sort of the be all end all. And just because you try or experiment with another workflow or whatever, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the way you're doing it before didn't work, or that it's invalid. Even it just means hey, you tried something else. You're kind of branching out. You're seeing what other options are out there. Yeah, exactly. That's how you grow. Just gotta keep learning. Gotta keep experimenting. It's the same reason why, like, when I do these things, I never sit here going like, the way I always do it is, like, because I don't. Sometimes I try other stuff. It might be something I do a lot, but I try not to allow myself to kind of get pigeonholed into only doing things a certain way. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the specifics on that are. Probably find out I've been breaking the law or something. I've been barely legal. Haha, just kidding. Poaching employees, you mean? So like one company in some form or fashion sort of soliciting people away from like another studio. So it's like it would be like me, leaving, Rooster Teeth Animation and then, going over to Certain Affinity to do concept art and then turning right around and like secretly, going back to the well and saying like, hey, you should come over here. Or doing it in some type of an official capacity, which would be even worse. That's my impression anyway. What the Photoshop freaking out? I swear everyone here hits their mark. Jesus. Really? No more peeing on the floor? Really? Great. I'm in. Did they make me go back? Make me is such a strong way of putting it. I mean, let's be fair. No, I'm still in Texas. Still in Texas. Just went back into games. Our studio over at Certain Affinity is like right down the road from Rooster Teeth Animation's studio. So going there and then coming back was no bother at all. Ugh, I don't like that. Not sure how I feel about that, but whatever. And this is supposed to be a darker material, so we're going to do the same thing. And there's an energy I'm trying to create here. So it's like if you see there's like a directionality to this, it's kind of doing this number. That's what I'm trying to do with the composition, and I'm trying to reinforce that with how I shade everything. So the lines, the hatching needs to support the structure that it's sort of carving, but it also needs to somehow support the energy of the composition. So where I can, I try to be deliberate with where I'm putting all this. Your favorite He-Man comic cover ever? Oh, are you talking about the Trapjaw one? Here, one sec. You mean this one? Yeah, speaking of getting my comic book addiction back, I've been going through my box of comics and like sorting through stuff, seeing what I can get rid of. Surprise, surprise, I haven't gotten rid of anything yet. Dude, did I ever tell you about how that came about? Me doing that thing? Like it was almost, I mean, it was kind of an accident. So they had asked me, like, you remember Val over at MV Creations? He was the one who, I don't know if he still does, but he used to run He-Man.org. So anyways, I feel like it was him, one of those guys. Anyways, they reached out to me and they asked if I wanted to do, what was it? They wanted to do like back covers, and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing an image that we could put on the back?" It wouldn't be a paid thing. We would give you a copy of the book, and of course, you know, like I was in art school, so I'm like, "Oh my god!" Well, I mean, who am I kidding? I'd probably still do it, even now, like if it was something that I was really into. But anyway, so I agreed to do it, and I had to do it over a holiday break. So I had a big thing of Bristol board that I brought with me to the airport because I was in South Florida and I was flying up to North Florida for the week or whatever. So anyways, I bring that with me, and I'm sitting in the airport terminal sketching this thing out, and I ended up being there long enough to where I think I ended up penciling half of it while I was sitting there. So I guess file that away under time well spent. So anyways, you know, flew back home, you know, finished it at my leisure. So I come back and I get it scanned and I send it over to them. And so they take a look at it and they're like, "Hey, this is awesome. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get this thing colored." Because I don't think they inked it. No, they just did it with pencils. But yeah, they were like, "Okay, well, you know, we're gonna get this thing colored. Thanks a lot for doing this. This is gonna look badass." And I was just, you know, over the moon that I even had the opportunity to do it. So they end up getting back to me like a few days later and they're like, "Hey, so how would you feel about us using this for the front cover of the book?" And I was like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, you know, we're sorry that it you know, wasn't a paid gig or something, but we kind of like this better than the one that was done. So I, of course, very enthusiastically agreed to allow them to do that, and you know, good for their word. They sent me a package in the mail that had like I think 10 copies of the book, and yeah, that was I think that was my that's my only official comic book gig that I've ever had, and it was kind of on accident, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, sorry. Again, just like last time, if you're wondering what it is I'm looking at occasionally, it's this dude. Like I'm just trying to double check like what some of these forms were supposed to be. So as I'm finalizing these, I can double check that I'm actually doing it correctly and interpreting my own sketch. And it looks like I'm already kind of screwing this up. Oh, there we go. Okay, we fixed it. I actually really liked that book too. I thought they went way darker with the story than I would have anticipated, but I was kind of happy they did that. I always thought Masters of the Universe was maybe not so much like the old school cartoons, but the original, like the mini comics and stuff. Like I always felt like they set up this world that was fairly dark, just in terms of like the tone, like the themes of it, and then it's like you've got this incredibly dark world, but because it's there to sell toys, all of it gets glossed over. And I always sort of wondered like what would happen if you did a version of the property where you just sort of allowed it to be what it was going to be. You know, like go back to the mini comics or whatever and just be like, screw it. It's this dark, almost, you know, like Conan type world. There's like, you know, slavery and barbarians and magic and all that. And then just embrace it, you know, don't try to gloss over it so that you can sell toys from it. Like just actually just kind of follow through on that and just kind of see what you come up with. Oh man, I remember that. Yeah, I wonder if they still do that over at that community. Like, do you know if they still do the like? Does that community even exist anymore? Man, those were fun. Like even the ones I never participated in. Um, who was that guy that used to do some super kick-ass like redesigns? I feel like his name was like I don't know like what his real name was, but I want to say his username was like Bear Show or something. Does that sound familiar? And he used to do like all those super yeah. And he would do like those super badass sort of like cartoon slash comic kind of redesigns of the characters. Yeah, that dude's work was legit. Yeah, that was a great community over there. I had a lot of fun. Like good people and lots of energy, and everybody was super respectful and supportive and all that. Yeah, it was a good group of folks over there. He made villain teddy bears. Big falling out between Val and some others. Oh, I didn't know about the falling out. Huh, that sucks. Yeah, I think the last time I went to that site was like maybe a year ago, and because they've got like the catalogs of like the mini comics or something like that, and yeah, I remember going there to kind of reference some things, and I kind of poked around the forums a little bit, and some people seemed familiar, and then it's been so long, like just couldn't remember who anybody was, and anyway. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought it was weird that like companies could essentially control your actions to that extent anyway when you're not even with the company anymore. Although I suppose it wouldn't surprise me. Larissa's over here like, it's all illegal. You can't do shit. What? No. Just kidding. You can do whatever you want. That's funny. It's in some NDAs. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that before. The ones that I have experience with typically go something like there's a certain amount of time you have to wait. So, like, if you leave the company, you have to be gone for like a year before you can start reaching back out to employees and saying like, "Hey, we're looking, and you'd be perfect for this job," or whatever it is. Oh. Well, I don't gotta follow the rules because I got laid off. That's funny. I'm sorry. Granted, it's funny at your expense. I'm sorry. Getting laid off is no laughing matter. God, I've been through some horrid layoffs. I was never the one like I always like I gotta thank my lucky star. Like I never got sucked into any of that. But yeah, I've had to watch some really good friends lose their jobs. That always sucks. Yeah, that's no good. That's no fun. Not at all. Have you ever been in a position where, like, because I mean, like, I've known some people where it's like they get laid off, and I mean, it's got a huge impact on them. Like, they don't have any other prospects. They don't really, bounce back onto their feet, or however the saying goes. Like, did you ever have to go through that? Or did you at least like have options that you could fall back on, or sorry if that's too personal a question. My hope would be that like you never got caught in something like that, but it took 6 months. Oh god, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that's what. Man, that's a big one. It's that location. Like you kind of always like, and it's not always possible, but you always want to be in a location where it's like if you ever got laid off, you'd have some other possibilities. But kind of like with Austin, like one of the reasons why I wanted to move out here was they had so many studios, and then I feel like I moved out here and suddenly it started drawing up. Like, really? This had to happen now? Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, it gets expensive. It gets expensive, that's for sure. Yeah, well, I mean, what makes it worse is like there's just so many more like there's just more competition now, so it makes it even more difficult to try to find those jobs in the event that you're laid off. We can always draw furries on Patreon. There we go. We got a plan in place. We got to figure it out. If you lose your job, just go do furries. We did it. Gotta get that furry money. I'm trying to think if I... Or anime girls. Yep. That would be a little more fun, honestly. Just become, like, Sakimi-chan Part 2. Do stuff that's basically, like, full-on, like, porn, and then post it on Twitter. Jesus. This one's slightly spicy. No, it ain't. It's porn. It's not spicy, it's porn. Lewd. Am I interested about Game Award today? What are you referencing? God, I don't even keep up with that stuff anymore until people remind me. I need to go check that out. Like, are there any highlights? Yeah, game it. Yeah. Now that you guys are talking about it, like I know what you're talking about. Sorry, it's just like I said, I don't really keep track of these things, and then they're happening, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Oh, yeah. I should probably be more aware of that, seeing as how that's the industry I work in, but... Golf Story. Death Stranding won best score. I haven't played Death Stranding. I've watched some people playing it on Twitch. Yeah, Death Stranding, at least from some of the cinematic stuff I've seen, seems kind of trippy. Someone in a Kirby suit. Nice. Real nice. I'm competing with that right now. I screwed up. That's what it sounds like. I screwed up. Rayquaza? Is that how you pronounce it? Rayquaza. Yeah, you gotta help me out. I don't know what that is either. All right, I'm gonna check this out. That's kind of cool. Here, let's pull this over here so we can all look at it together. Okay, so this is what Sana wants. Okay. He only has gums where are his teeth. He's got sharp gums, dude. Look at that. To the comic sept artist interpretation. Like, how much of my interpretation are you looking for? Like, because if it's up to me, like, he'll just kind of look vaguely like evil afterwards or something. Panthro. Oh man. Okay, we gotta pull up a window really quick. Hold on. Do I already have a... Oh, shit, I already had tab. Never mind. Okay. Dude, man, that would be fun. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Yeah, we should do a Panthro. No, I'm not saying I want something that's like, okay, let me take that back. Let me reframe that. Anything I do ends up probably being way way moodier and edgier than it should be. It's why I typically do like anti-hero stuff. Just I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't figured it out. That's like he's almost too friendly in that one. Thundercats 2011. I don't think I ever watched that. Did any of you check out the new Thundercats when it came back? The new one? Draw Shrek. I think I'd rather do Panthro than do Shrek, to be honest. Oh, dude, that's sick. Oh, who did this? Dude, I love the character work. The facial expression was a little, but like the body and like the drawing and the rendering quality is really nice. Oh no, I got your joke. I got it. Oh, I got it. God. Yeah, we gotta start popping this area from. So what's going on over there? feel like Michael could also do a good He-Man. Maybe. Do like an actual, do him in more of like a straight up kind of Frazetta barbarian style. That'd be kind of fun. God, he's got a gnarly hand. Dope. Handy. Keeping it classy. feel like we're almost in the home stretch. Thank God. Man, there's a lot to do on this thing. We're gonna have to. It's looking a little too busy. I'm gonna have to fix that somehow. Sometimes having that sketch up is a little distracting, and it can trick you into thinking that some of this stuff is a lot clearer than it really is. I have to get rid of that and kind of evaluate it like this. So this stuff down at the bottom certainly was working a lot better, I think. Let's go ahead and figure out, okay, so our light source is something like this. And this thing is round, so it feels like we should have some type of shadow coming down from here. Maybe, so the core of it is going to be through this area in here for the most part. Much in keeping with what's going on with this forearm down here. So we're gonna go in and start filling some of this in. Man, that got messy as hell real quick, didn't it? Well, that looks horrible. Guess we can just start filling in all the areas that make sense to just kind of darken them up. So this is supposed to be almost like a skull head, so just go ahead and fill in some of that crap. And then, yeah, and then I guess we can just go in there and start shading in some of this stuff. One thing I'm not really liking about this is it's kind of breaking my rules. You know what? I might just experiment with something really quick. So instead of... let's just make this brush way bigger. Let's flip this, get a new angle on it. Zoom all the way out and just be like... Thoughts? Anyone? My rules of just trying to stay consistent in how I'm shading everything. So it's like darker materials, just, you know, they go, like their core shadows can go way darker. Just to, you know, infer that the material difference. And then, you know, stuff like the skin, I try to, more often than not, I try to just keep it limited to just the line work. With, you know, some selective blacks here and there just to, you know, just for emphasis when I really need it. But like I like right now that the light, like in the way that it's inked, it's like this all feels like it's lighter than that, lighter than this, lighter than this, just by virtue of the fact that the shadows don't go as dark. Maybe I'll play with I don't know. I mean, maybe we could add some more core back into this. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Let me live with it. Anyways, I think this this is certainly starting to read a lot better. And actually, if we really want to sell that this thing is round, what we could do is go in with, because I've got this like eraser trick that I do. Similar to like the subtractive line work up in here. Like a lot of this was done knocking in a bunch of dark, like a lot of solid dark, and then like I just go in there and erase out of it. So I could try some of that. Gonna have to commit. Yeah, screw it. Let's just do it. Do it. Do it. And it was around that way. So we might be able to... So it starts to feel like there was a bit of a round surface there. And then same with this one too. But maybe a little less so than the other one. Yeah. So like now it feels like it's got a little bit more form, but it still reads as a nice core, like a solid core shadow. Like you want to do it without destroying all the work you just did to try to improve the read. You know, and then maybe go in there and just sort of just a little bit more, just to work some of that volume back into it. Actually, I think that's starting to work pretty good. What do y'all think? Yeah, boy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I love it, yeah. Yeah, great suggestions. See, that's another reason why I like doing these. I like doing these on Twitch because it's like being able to chat with everybody and kind of get real-time feedback. It's in a weird sort of way, it reminds me of like being in the studio and being able to like just roll over to somebody and be like, hey, I got a question. Take a look at this. What do you think? What am I missing? And then he's going to have a bit of like something glowing, like energy. So I'm just going to allow this detail to just kind of taper off into nothing. And then once we like go in there and start applying like glows and other stuff to it, then it will, hopefully it will read the way it's supposed to. Okay. Oh, that's what I meant to do. So, gotta figure out what to do with these. Because I want to keep this area looking, like I love the contrast of it. It's nice and graphic. But it just needs a little something, just a little something to kind of tie it in with everything else. So I'm thinking maybe just sort of hinting at how this thing is like curling over his shoulder. And I've got some really nice energy going with all these lines over here. So actually I might see what happens if I follow that. Not quite sure. That's why I'm leaving this on its own layer while I try to figure out how I want to do this. Just make it feel like this stuff is bending and compressing a little bit. I think this one's mostly fine for like maybe this down here. Just throw a little bit of something in there. Yeah, I can buy that. And then let's see, maybe some more these sort of these wrinkles that are in there. These are cool because they help to reinforce like the direction of the surface. So like this has like a bit of a bend until it straightens out down here, and then it sort of overlaps so the lines aren't going to meet quite right. So you can just sort of, like, you don't want it to be too busy, so it's like that's probably like way too much. But I don't know, maybe something like that. Just again, just to help infer what's going on with the surface, and then maybe even like throw in a bit of like some shadowing here and there, just to I don't know, maybe that's a little too much. Yeah, we'll take it out. Don't want it to be too busy. I mean, I don't have to admit it to y'all. I'm sure you've noticed it, but it's like I can really quickly go overboard with adding little like lines and details and stuff. It's like I have to restrain myself from doing it because I don't know. Happy little hatches. I mean, that's getting there, I think. And then, let's see, what do we still have? Oh, God, I've got some stuff I still got to fix on this. Okay. Go ahead and combine those. There it is. Yeah, I still got to fix this crap. Get rid of this slop. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to keep what's going on with some of the hood up here. Don't need that. Okay, well, he needs another hand. That's for sure. I'm handless. Yeah, leave it, leave it, leave it. Stop it. Thank you, Anonymous. Much appreciated. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Whoa. Okay. And this one is just kind of hanging out down here, so we'll let this go a little quicker. Oh. I think on the next stream, I'm gonna because I've got a standing desk. I think I'm gonna stand up for the next one, because it's like, man, when you're sitting all day like working in the studio, and then you come home and then you're just sitting here for like hours on end, it's like, ooh, I feel like my back is breaking. Like, it's nice to just sort of sit back and chill for a couple hours, but then, or maybe I just have bad posture. I don't know what it is. I'm just screwed up. Yeah, thank you for the follows, by the way. Let's see, we got Art Malarkey, Kuma, Tadori TV, Anonymous, thank you. Button Stack, yeah, thank you everybody. Glad you're digging it. Yeah, I mainly so I've got two different venues where I do art. I've got a Patreon going. My original plan for that is that the content would be a little more regular, but as that's sort of evolved, it's like because I do videos for it, and the video content just takes a little longer to produce, and I don't want to rush it out, so it just kind of takes a little longer. So I use that for a combination of things. One, just doing requests. So, I might put out a poll to the patrons and just kind of see what everybody's interested in, and then do some content that's based off that. Or I do some content that's based on like my own work. So it could be IPs that I'm working on. I have two that I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between right now. So that's what's going on over at Patreon, and that's like video content, some tutorial the video content, like tutorial sheets, so like a lot of step-by-step stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on over there. And then here, it's looking like it's gonna develop into a combination of this type of stuff. I love doing like fan homages and stuff like that. So it'll be stuff like what you're seeing here. We can do some requests. Actually, Sana Dying Tempest has already sort of tossed her suggestion in there. So we'll probably do that on an upcoming stream. And then I might do some original content here as well. But just like on Patreon, like the way that I like to run things is, I like getting the feedback. So if, if people show up and they're like, hey, it'd be really cool if you did this, or, what if you offered, whatever, drop me a message. We can chat about it while I'm here. However I can improve the channel, tweak it so that people find it a little more rewarding and worth their time. So do I take commissions? I haven't done that in a while, mostly because I don't really get asked to. It usually comes down to that, and then just time, the usual. But I think it's just, I think it would be kind of a case by case. It would depend on like, what it is, like how long it would take. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, in theory. Have I ever drawn Spawn? Oh, I dedicated many, many years of my life to to drawing Spawn. Spawn actually was like, if you want to talk about art influences on formative years, that's got to be, I mean, that takes the cake for me. Between like some X-Men stuff and then Greg Capullo on Spawn. Yeah, those were huge. They left huge impressions on me, just artistically. So, yes, to answer your question, I've drawn a lot of Spawn. Haven't really done any lately, but that would actually be something fun to go and address on a stream. Actually, yeah, that would be really fun. I'll have to add that to the list. All right. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Sean Norton. Yeah, Greg Capullo on Spawn. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I first encountered that. God, when like early '90s, and like I was used to, like I was a huge comic book fan, but I was used to the sort of Marvel and DC, very very kind of superhero, like those styles is what I was used to, and then a buddy of mine, like I feel like we went to because I was just telling us this story the other day. Oh, we went to a gas station. Like I think we were like skateboarding around or something. We went to a gas station and stopped to get a drink or whatever. This is back when I lived in Hawaii, and yeah, like we went over to the comics. He wasn't so much of a comic book fan. That was more my thing, but excuse me. So we go in there, and like I think I was just sort of idly looking around, and I happened to see Spawn, and it just immediately caught my eye because it was like such heavy use of like blacks and like the inking style. Like you could tell they were doing the thing with the that old trick with the toothbrush where like you put some of the India ink on the toothbrush and you sort of like splatter it on there just so it gets that really interesting texture. And then like in some of the solid black areas, they would do the reverse where they would take like whiteout or something and just like spray it on there so it just had all the texture and everything. God, like that stuff just looked so awesome, and I wasn't used to seeing that anywhere. Everything was always so clean, and this just like not that it felt dirty, but it had a texture to it, and the color complemented it so well. So anyways, yeah, that was my first experience with it, and yeah, I was a huge fan of it ever since. And I've seen other artists come and go that like they do a pretty good job of sort of filling in for what Greg brought to it. They kind of have a similar vibe. Who's that artist? I want to say they also worked on Kiss Psycho Circus back in the 90s. Like Angel Medina, was it? Like had a bit of that, but I don't know. It's never the same. Like he's just got that thing. All right, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, the image launch titles. Yeah, I actually just like occasionally I go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole. Like you start in one place and then you end up somewhere completely different. And anyway, I was doing some digging about God, what was I looking at? I was looking at like comic publishers or something. So I was reading an article about Image and then just kind of going through and rereading about all of their launch titles. And it finally dawned on me, like half of them I never even read. So I kind of want to go back and check those out again. Yeah, just leave that. It's getting a little busy over there. All right. Okay, so we're almost done with this thing. I'm thinking... Uh, 19 medium boxes full of comics. I thought I had way too many. Just kidding, you can't have too many. 19 medium boxes. Wow. Yeah, I saw Jim Lee just started his... Ugh, man. Man. I might have to close down just so I can go watch Jim. No, it's alright. I'll just open up another window that's got Jim in it. All right. So I think we got just about all of this in here. We gotta get the effects of his magic in there. You know what? I'm gonna take this out. I don't like it. So I had started doing, let's see, I started doing some blacks in the background to just kind of chisel him out. Go raid Jim Lee. Okay, so I'm still learning the rules, like... Is that like a kosher thing to do? Like just go and raid folks? Sorry for the noob questions. I'm like, I don't want to bother anybody. Raiding is a nice thing to do and show support. All right. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Jim Lee's not a very well-known guy. Pelmy, thanks for the follow. Sorry, we're kind of in a lull right now. They're trying to... Everybody in the stream is... in the chat is trying to teach me how to do stuff. First you hit the raid button. So, like, how long do you do it for? You just, like, do it and then, like, turn it off? Or, like, how does that work? I could go and research this, but seeing as how y'all are experts, apparently, you can educate me. Yeah, I do the auto host. So I've got like 10 other streamers who I auto host. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, just raid when you're done. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. No, it's all good. We get it. I want to try something out. Like, I wonder what would happen if we let him just sort of disappear into some shadow back there. Oh, I love this brush. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I also love that it's a standard Photoshop brush and I didn't have to make it myself. Because I'm lazy like that. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. Disintegrate, thanks for the follow. I don't know. I don't know if I'm liking where this is going. I think I kind of liked it better when I was experimenting with doing something behind him where it was like... Hold on. It was like he was getting hit with some type of a... Almost like he's getting hit by a spotlight or something. Or maybe it's something I could do in the color as well. I could experiment with it there instead of worrying about it with the inks. Go back to my handy reference really quick. Because I feel like I missed some things on his outfit. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and embolden some of these lines. Okay. I think this is probably a good place to leave it. Yeah, I might save all of these effects for the color path. Because I'm thinking too, like once I go in there with color, I might go back and add in some more solid blacks down here, just to, again, like sort of reference this localized light that I thought would be kind of interesting to have, like where, you know, there's almost like a shaft of light kind of cutting through the room and illuminating him. Something like that, I don't know. So I might wait on that. But in general, I think it's coming along. What do y'all think? Is there anything I'm missing? Anything obvious? I have a bad habit of missing things. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this. This is another one of those, kind of like the previous piece, Kazu, where it kind of started off as just a, you know, just a sketch that, you know, I was having fun with, and I didn't necessarily plan to take it all the way to the end. But I'm glad I did. I'm liking it. It's turning out pretty cool. Cape free version. Yeah. Although, I mean, if we thought, hey, no, a cape would look sweet, I mean, it wouldn't take very long to lay that in. I might play around with that on the next stream, actually. Because it's like I've already got some of these lines sort of suggesting, you know, like I wanted to have something to kind of give it this energy. And you can easily turn this into like the folds of a cape or something. So, yeah, could do that. Could try that. You know, you could have it, you know, like coming up from behind him. And then, speaking of spawn, we could kind of spawn cape this a little bit, put some tears in it and, you know, stuff like that. That could be really fun, actually. Yeah, maybe we would. Maybe we will do that. Help make it a little more dynamic. Yeah, nice suggestion. We can, yeah, like I said, we can lay that in and try it out on the next one. And then, yeah, once we have that in, we can proceed with color. Yeah, I've got like a little bit of color just kind of stubbed in already, but I mean, it was just like kind of quick and dirty just to get an idea of where everything would go. But yeah, we can dive back into this on the next one and start fleshing it out. Is the hand glowing or is the energy inside of his palm? This idea that it's kind of like, You know how in this is going to be like a random callback, but remember in the Masters of the Universe movie where like the portal or whatever, like the what was it called in the movie? Like the Great Eye opens up and it's like he gets all that power from the universe or whatever, and then it's like he's like looking at his hand and it's like the energy's like kind of coursing off of it or whatever. I kind of want to do something like that where he's just kind of looking at his palm and it's almost like he's got some type of energy that's like forming inside and it's just it's just emanating out from between his fingertips and you know it looks all dynamic, hopefully. But yeah, to answer your question, it'd be more kind of in his hand. Not nearly as bright as whatever that light source is on him, but definitely coming more so from his palm than like his entire hand. But I think just for the sake of making it a cool illustration, I might just have like I was saying earlier, like maybe like his fingers and like some of his hand is like starting to glow with it. That could be cool. Maybe not enough to where it looks like it should be a light source, but certainly it looks like he's casting something or harnessing something. But yeah. So this is like I said, this is just like a super quick and dirty kind of mock up I was screwing around with the other day because I have no sense of self-control, and I'm all like, hey, I want to get a glimpse of how it would turn out in the end if I took it all the way. And so I did that. So I'll probably use this as a guide moving forward, and because I've got like swatches for Skeletor's colors in here. I think I've also got some references. So yeah, we should be able to jump in and do some flats, and then yeah, throw some lighting in there and call it a day. It could be a combination though. You never know. Like I said, like we can get in there and try some stuff and see. I don't really have any, like I'm not married to any particular notion of what the magic looks like. So, yeah, I'll probably just try a couple different things. And if y'all have good references for things that you think would work, pop a link in there and we'll take a look at it. So yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream. Yeah. Thank you so much to, everyone who followed me. And yeah, like I say, hopefully you guys find this, you find this channel inspiring and worth your time. And I appreciate the fact that you have joined me and kind of hung out to watch me work and kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. So yeah, thanks for watching. And usually my next stream would be like next Tuesday, but I'll probably do at least maybe one or two this weekend. Probably not Friday, but maybe Saturday, Sunday. So if that happens, I'll go ahead and drop something in my schedule on the profile page. But yeah, in any case, I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And I will log off for the night and see y'all maybe this weekend. All right, take it easy.